Hi ghost hunting fans! If you enjoyed Family Spirits, the adventures and evidence of Gallo family ghost hunters, you're going to love Family Spirits 2, Purpose and the Paranormal by Bobby J. Gallo. Paperback and nookbook available through Barnes & Noble. More adventure, more evidence, more ghosts. Materialize your copy today.
Okay, folks, this is Bobby J. Gallo. We are here at the Masonic Lodge with church bells in the background. Kind of adds to the ambiance, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really does. But we're here to give back the haunted sword to the lodge. So I'm just doing my brief introductions here, and we're gonna film everybody going in. And the church bells stop just as I'm done. Look at that.
My father actually went on a vacation back in 2006 down in South Carolina and picked it up at a shop, and he had it for all these years, and then he finally decided to let it go with some other knives and swords that he had, and so he gave it to me. I never had known that it had any kind of attachment to it, or that it actually belonged to the Freemasons, until we ended up just putting a K2 meter right up on it, and then it went off like crazy, letting us know that something was attached to it. So I thought that was pretty awesome. But really, my dad had it out in South Carolina, had it for all those years, and I don't know a whole lot about it, so we just kind of something that was in the family for a while. But now we're gonna give it back to the Freemasons, which I think is really good. It makes me feel better, because that way I know it's in its right place. We've had a lot of things happen. I think that maybe with its attachment and the fact that it was in the apartment, and I had received it just before I was in my motor vehicle accident, and I broke both my legs in a head-on motor vehicle accident. We think maybe because of the attachment to the sword and the fact that we had gotten it just before that accident, that it might actually have something to do with it. So that is very interesting.
Okay, folks, we're going to do two tests before we bring the sword back to the lodge. I do want to show everybody what we're talking about. If you go back and you watch our episode, Temple Spirits Part 2, you'll actually see the same thing happen with a sword down in the Carolinas. The crazy thing about it was, this is from the Carolinas. So here's the question. Do haunted objects follow people around? Is this the same sword? I don't know. It looks an awful lot like it, and you can check it out on our episode. But here we have the Ghost Meter Pro, and it's going to be set in regular EMF. And okay, you see it's not going off? Come on, folks. All the way down the blade. Now, if any of you know, this should only, that's pinned. It should only go off like that if it's next to a power outlet. An awful lot. So also what I want to do is Tri-Field Natural. Now, if you know anything about a Tri-Field Natural, this does not register man-made AC EMF, only DC, which is what we are made of. And yeah, we can see it's reacting at the hilt with DC, which means what we're picking up is not AC man-made EMF. I'm going to put it right here by the hilt. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we are getting a big DC charge, which is man-made, and some say even that's the energy we look for when we're on a paranormal investigation. We're looking for a DC EMF, not AC EMF. This will pick up both. This will only pick up DC, which is what we're looking for when we're trying to detect paranormal energies, and it looks like this is imbued with that. So yeah, to me there's little doubt. Anthony Simonelli, if you're watching this, thank you for responding on Facebook. He is a psychic medium, and he said that there is a confused spirit attached to it. So we're going to make this spirit unconfused by bringing it back to where it should be. Yeah. Exactly. Well, here it is.
Yeah.
Man, that's beautiful.
Isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely
Came
beautiful.
from South Carolina. That's where my father originally picked it up.
And he just picked it up. He wasn't a mason.
No, he just picked it up. He had bought it with a bunch of other swords and knives that he had gotten in a shop down there, and
It's extremely
he just
decorative.
picked it up, and then he, like I said, it got handed to me, and then now we have found out what we have found out about it, so it just feels right to have it where it
Well,
belongs.
without a doubt, it's a mason's
That's-
sword.
yeah.
Very decorative one. Probably either used for processionals, or it could be a Tyler sword. Most likely a Tyler sword.
I actually ran into one of these things when I was doing an investigation in a lodge down south.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, we just found out that this came from
From South Carolina.
From
South Carolina.
Mhm.
And I'm almost wondering if this was the same sword and that it's following me around. I have no idea.
That's actually intriguing.
It is.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Same thing, same dynamic as what happened with the sword down south. This is an EMF detector. We're just going to put on regular EMF mode.
Yeah.
If
Let me see. Wow, that's extremely intriguing.
Yeah.
I mean, we could sit and talk about paranormal theories. I mean, I've been doing it probably just as long as you've been involved in it.
Here's another thing that's curious.
That's extremely
Exactly like what happened in the one down south. The tip, and then it would back off in the middle, and then it would start when you got to the hilt again.
That's crazy.
Now that's not a low reading. That's pinning it.
Yeah,
It's pinning it.
Go ahead, Nick.
So this is just our outer lounge.
This is amazing.
Yeah, this is our outer lounge. This is where we sit, and this is our sword. So every lodge has some kind of implement,
Look at that.
and that is ours.
Now you have a grand one.
This one, I will most likely will probably either set up a box for, or we'll hang it on the lodge wall. And I'll show you our lodge room too. So
This is
this is basically where we come and just kind of sit before and talk.
Okay.
And
love it.
yeah, so and as you say, like people don't realize that the Shriners are.
And you
actually all
smoke
Masons as
cigars? That'd make me want to become a Mason right
well.
there.
We do. This is our cigar.
I'm a big
lounge.
cigar guy, so
We are a big yes. This is our cigar lounge, as we also like to call it.
love it. That's great.
Yeah,
I'd like to have a place like this to hang out in.
Hey, you know what? And
Yes.
we sit around here, and it is very it's therapeutic. All the guys will sit here and we'll
Yeah.
talk. And as I tell people are like, "Oh, Masons are this." I said, "No, it really is about bettering men." And there are women's sects, and now it's actually women are being introduced to England and becoming Masons, not just ordered Eastern Star. So it is progressively getting open. But we've gone in there where they've talked about just how you live your life. And the one meeting I left in tears, realizing I worked more than I spent time with my family. And they said, "Well, you need to change that." And like, I walked out, like, I wasn't expecting that, and I went home. And that's when I was like, I'm into this. It's not like what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And then there's the other part we jump into the history, which is when he gets here is definitely the history part.
That's very, very cool.
Just look at it; it's very decorative.
Yeah.
I love the symbols on it. It's got all the right symbols. The all-seeing eye, the square and compasses, the plot. Everything is. It's definitely. That's so intriguing. And it's kind of ironic that this comes into our hands. Literally, I'm doing the first investigation here with the public on March 29th.
Isn't that amazing? Which is
Yeah.
my birthday, by the way.
And you're going to even get a little more messed up. So like, I just met you last night.
That's right.
Okay, so became friends on Facebook.
That's right.
Grew up in Netcong.
Yep.
Went to Lenape Valley.
Get out of here.
My
Where
brother.
would
We all did.
My brother went to Opakon.
I mean, like, this is like
You're
one
really-
coincidence after
So
another
I
with this
grew
whole
up- I
thing.
grew up in Opakon. I went to Pope John. My brother went to Opakon, graduated in '82. So my brother and you got to be close to the same age.
I'm 60.
My brother's 60.
Wow.
So I'm going to be 50 this year. But you guys went to Lenape?
Yeah.
What year?
2015. We graduated.
Okay,
Yeah.
youngins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how old are you?
Well, this is my daughter.
27.
My oldest is 23, but she went to Roxbury.
Okay.
Because we were living in Landy, but yeah, I had a lot of friends. I grew up in Lenape. So that's why I'm looking, I'm like, you grew up in the town next to me. That's
Right.
just crazy. Let me see who this is. Somebody's coming up.
Yep.
Hello.
DJ, the person I wanted to see.
How's it going?
DJ, this is Bob.
How you doing, sir?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
too. How's it going? DJ.
Brad.
So
Brad. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet
we all
you.
just met last night, not realizing that he is a very big paranormal influencer too. Had no clue, and we just came across this. You know more history than I do. It's definitely all the right markings.
Let's go.
Let's get a little light here.
Trying to look.
It's very decorative.
It is. It's very nice. I mean, I'm no like appraiser or nothing,
But you know more about.
Yeah, I'm just looking at. I wouldn't say it's like ancient.
No.
To me, this looks like newish, but it's also. So, did you like explain anything like what sword is and Tyler? and-
I just didn't go what a Tyler was. I showed him more Tyler's sword. I didn't
Yeah.
go into details. You know more about that than
Yep.
I would.
So
go into.
in the Masonic Lodge, one of our officers is Tyler. He's basically the guard of the door, so outside. So it's kind of a holdover from, from
History.
300 years ago
300, yeah.
or more, depending on who you ask. But basically, he's the guard of the door. So whenever there's a
Understood.
meeting, he's outside. His implement, and his jewel that he wears is the sword, because he would have a sword to defend the lodge in case of anybody trying to illegally come into the meeting. So a lot of lodges have swords that are old. A lot of lodges have swords that they just use old Knight Templar swords. This is not a Knights Templar.
No, that's not a Knight
sword.
Templar. I looked at
this.
the
Is just I'm looking at it. It just looks like a very nice.
It's a very nicely made
Masonic sword.
Yeah.
So I would say this would be a Tyler's sword
That's what I assume too.
by looking at it.
I was just looking at the inlay, like the velvet. Like,
Velvet is nice.
yeah, it's really nice touch. I've never seen that on him.
And again, the blue velvet for Blue Lodge versus most of the Knights Templar.
Look at that.
He was asking me the colors, and I wasn't gonna. Yeah, I couldn't
Yeah.
remember exactly the different significances of it.
So I don't know where it originated, but a regular Masonic lodge like our lodge here, or at least in the States or North
States,
America,
yeah.
is called the Blue Lodge. We happen to have the blue theme. A lot of lodges have a blue theme because of that. And then there's other appendant bodies. So like if you go to the Knights Templar and you go through the York Rite, a lot of that is all red themed.
Understood. And I suppose the Scottish Rite.
Right. And Scottish Rite is the other big appendant body that you can join. And that's the one where you go up through the 32nd degree, and then the 33rd is the honorary, et cetera. So this has the nice velvet blue
yeah.
inlay for a Blue Lodge, which, and again, it's got the blue jewel in
It's got the blue jewel
in
there,
the
too.
hilt too with the G. So most lodges, I feel like, because at one point in time, a lot of lodges would have a I'm trying to blank here. Help me out.
Most lodges would have with what?
The Royal Arch. Thank you.
Royal Arch.
So
I'm like,
Royal Arch
didn't know what
chapter.
you're going for.
Yeah, so that's the first step up in the York Rite.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And again, they have the red
They have all red,
theme.
yeah.
So like their aprons have red trim, and this has red. But that culminates in the Knights Templar. So a lot of lodges would have at least a Royal Arch chapter that also met in that building if they didn't have all the way up through this,
Understood.
the Templars. But a lot of lodges have a Templar sword. If you grab ours, I don't know if ours here is.
I don't know either.
Well, I do want to show you something
Yeah.
that I was showing him.
This is pretty cool, G-Dad. I'll be right there.
I've investigated lodges before.
Yep.
And we had a run-in with one that looked just like this.
Okay.
And the same thing happened with that one.
Interesting.
This is an EMF detector. It's not
Okay.
a regular EMF.
It's electromagnetic. It should detect
Yep.
electricity.
This detects electricity, basically.
Yeah.
If you put this through next to an outlet, it's going to go off.
Right.
And the same thing happened with the one down south. Mid-sword, it would die down, but when you get to the hilt,
It's intriguing. I have a
cool.
couple other stuff too that I'll bring out and check one night too. But I'd say it's kind of funny how this fell into her.
there's something energizing this sword. This doesn't lie, this is science.
No, that's just detecting.
And that the field is actually quite
I
pronounced.
think ours is just a template. Right?
Can I check that one?
Yeah. Yeah, this looks like an old Templar sword.
It's just,
to
I
me,
think it's an old Templar sword.
which is pretty common.
Let me just,
Yeah.
you don't mind if I...
No, it's just right now it's just a sword.
I don't know what the protocols
No,
are.
no. Right now it's just a cool looking sword.
It's not haunted. It's not. This one, on the other hand, I've already had a psychic medium tell me it's haunted by the spirit of a very confused person.
Interesting.
Quite
And that's like
possibly-
you go into the whole thing that if you want to believe there were beliefs that a Mason spends his
Did you
whole life
notice
here.
that one didn't
Yeah.
throw off anything?
Why would you
got
get
that
that,
on?
especially if
Yeah,
that
I
was
did.
Tyler,
I got
that
that
was
on
terrible.
video.
Like it was
I
like
haven't touched it.
carrying it all the time.
Right.
That's what I was thinking.
But-
Somebody that was a Freemason who did that.
So
you know
just
what I mean?
just
connected to
to
it.
get that on, you see there's nothing's happening with their sword. Now check this out. Now you get to the tip. That's a good 3 inches above the sword too. So there you go, folks.
So you think Eric will start carrying that?
There's something.
The other
There's
thing, too,
something
like you said,
giving
what I
off
had told
energy
you,
on that
I know
sword.
we didn't tell
Proof
him,
positive.
but, that
That's
maybe there could be
undisputable.
some kind of like
That
the
part.
ashes inside there that sometimes.
So as you
could
say, have
happen.
you ever heard? I said it's anything is possible that if someone passed away, could they put an ashes? I mean, anything is
I wouldn't
possible.
say I've heard that as
I haven't
like a
asserted.
common
No,
thing.
it's not
Okay,
something that we
but-
normally do, but people do weird things.
Yeah.
Or unique things. We'll put it that way.
So I'm curious, where did you guys get this one from?
you go
My
for this
dad had it. He got it back in 2006 in South Carolina.
Okay.
And he bought it at a shop. We don't remember what the name of the shop was, but that's where he picked it up. He picked it up with some other knives and stuff like that he bought, and he just never knew. He never knew
The
what it
strange
really
thing
was.
is the other one that we investigated that looked identical to that, which is on the internet. You can
Yeah.
see that investigation. The same thing, the tip and the hilt, electromagnetic.
And that was down south as well.
That came from the same area.
Interesting.
Yep.
So I'm like, man, if this is the same sword, I'm gonna freak because
I'm just, the fact that it just fell into our laps to have a Masada item that we can bring in here and display or use.
I think it's wonderful. We returned the sword to the lodge where it belonged, but that still didn't explain the unearthly electromagnetic charge that it held. So many questions. Perhaps more answers would be discovered during the evening investigation to come.
How do they always capture so much evidence? No one does it like Gallo family ghost hunters. Hey folks, if you'd like to stand out on your next ghost hunt, be sure to investigate ghostgear.info for original paranormal clothing designs and ultra cool swag you won't find anywhere else. You make perfect ghost bait, just saying.